Hello and welcome to all of our viewers here today at Gold Learning. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC. Well, welcome everyone. Today we are sitting down with our guest, Katrien Nauwelaerts from Belgium, and she is going to be presenting at our upcoming Gold Lactation Conference 2020. Now, Katrien has been with us here before from Belgium, so we're very delighted to have her back. And she's going to be sharing on a topic that is very near and dear to her heart, breastfeeding and the use of herbs. Now, as a quick reminder, of course, I want to tell you a little bit about what's coming up here at Gold Lactation, so you can get on the website and get ready for all the special events that are coming up, and there are a lot of them. First of all, to kick off our conference this year, we have our opening keynote with Bruna Sampi, and it's going to be on March 30th. Now, that's an important date to mark on your calendar because, of course, all of our keynotes here at Gold Learning are open access and free to use. So you want to be sure that you mark that on your calendar. It's really easy to get in on those free presentations. All you have to do is go to the website goldlactation.com and register for that event. Okay, so remember that that one's free. Now, the entire conference also kicks off that day, so I know many of you have already registered. That is so exciting, and of course we can't wait to share what's coming up, and that's why of course we're going to be talking to Katrien today and about her event as well. Now, Katrien is also going to be here with us live, which gives you the opportunity to actually talk to her online during that live event as well. We'll have our live Q&A with her, as well as, of course, her full presentation. Now, she's going to be joining us on April 7th. You can go to the website and check out all the time zones that you're going to be there, depending on the country you live in, of course. So you want to be sure that you've got that connected. All you have to do, again, is log into the website. So let's welcome Katrien today. So welcome, Katrien. It's great to have you back here at Gold.
Thank you. Hello.
And it's so good to see you. We were just talking that the last time that we had a chance to sit down and chat, of course, it wasn't face to face, but today is very special because we get to see each other and we're just building more connections together. So it just feels really positive, I think.
Me too.
Excellent. All right, Katrien, so I wanted to ask you a few questions about your life and what it looks like for you from one day to the next day. And perhaps you would like to introduce yourself formally and tell people where you live in the world and what it looks like when you're working.
Well, I'm living in Belgium, in the Flemish part of Belgium. That's the Dutch-speaking part, in a little town in Flanders, at the countryside, actually. I have a big garden with animals and plants and herbs. And I'm an IBCLC in private practice. I'm going to mothers who have breastfeeding problems, or young parents are coming to me because they have questions or problems with breastfeeding, and about nutrition because I'm also a nutritionist.
Ah, this is very beautiful. So you just painted a beautiful picture of where you are. We all want this large, I would love to have I do have a big garden, but there is nothing in it. It's almost like wasted. I need you to come and show me how to do it. And I mean, I'm in Canada, you're in Belgium. Is the climate very similar there as far as your winters are fairly cold, you get a lot of snow, and then springtime comes? Is it soon now? I know it's March here, so when does spring start for you as well?
At the end of March, spring is start, but there is a lot of rain at the moment. There's a lot of
Okay.
wind. There wasn't any snow this winter time.
What?
They say because of climate change, we're going to
Really?
a Mediterranean climate. So
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
see what
See what happens. Yeah. I sort of assumed that you would have snow, that it would be cold enough for you, but maybe not always, I guess, right? You usually get snow in the winter time?
Usually we have a few days of snow in winter time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not maybe as cold of a climate. So your plants are, just starting to probably seed a little bit, I guess. So you grow a lot of plants yourself
Yeah, I do.
because you're a
Yeah,
herbalist. Yeah, yeah. No, that's
yeah, yeah.
fabulous. Yeah.
And I
Okay.
don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know if I say that in English well, but a few of my plants hibernated and they're growing again. So
Oh,
climate change is really we feel climate
you're
change.
feeling it
Yes.
there. You're feeling it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's very interesting. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's
let's
interesting.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're going to go back in your life because I promised that I would ask about, because I feel like there might have been a before lactation time, and how it all started for you. So I want to know, what did you do before you were a lactation consultant, and then how did you decide to become a lactation consultant?
Hmm. Actually, I graduated as an historian and an archaeologist, so
Hmm.
I didn't have anything to do with babies or
Nothing.
breastfeeding. And then I got pregnant, and I got 3 kids in 2.5 years.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, and I breastfed them all the three of them, and for a long time. So
Yeah,
at a certain moment, I breastfed three kids at the same time, and
same
I got
time.
interested in the phenomena of breastfeeding and how,
Sure.
and I searched things and I read about it, and I just wanted to know more about it, and that's how I rolled into the life of an IBCLC.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, so interesting. You're the first person that I have spoken to that has breastfed all three children.
Mhm.
I also did the same thing, Katrien. So I
Mhm.
had three children very
Mm,
close together,
nice.
and ended up breastfeeding all three. So it's the first
Yeah.
time I've talked to other women online, but
Mhm.
you're the first person I've talked
Ah,
to really
okay.
in
Nice
person.
to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you, because it is a little bit unique,
Yeah,
and
I
it
know.
wasn't well accepted by everybody. But
Mhm.
at the time, it was needed. It was something
Mhm.
that the children were very small, and
Mhm.
they came very quickly. So
Mm.
I was very appreciative that my body cooperated. I had enough knowledge, and I did
Mhm.
have enough support at the time in order to do
Mhm.
it. So was it the same for you? Did you get enough
Yeah,
support at the time?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Support is
excellent.
very, very important. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely. So here you are now. You've had your children. Now you're in the field of lactation.
Mhm.
When did it become that you moved into becoming a working with herbs as
Mhm.
well?
Um, I was always interested in plants and herbs and animals, and
Hmm.
so, but I noticed a lot of mothers uh, actually use herbs or are
Hmm.
interested in food and the use of herbs and vegetables, and so, and that's why I just started to read about it, and then I I saw that you can become an herbalist, and so
Right.
that's why I studied it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's fantastic. Well, so now this has just taken your career to a whole different level.
Hmm.
I feel like for in Canada and North America, we are seeing quite a bit of demand for
Hmm.
our clients to talk about herbs
Yeah.
and get that additional information. We
Hmm.
see a lot of mothers. I think you and I had this conversation. You said that it's this in Belgium. There might be quite a lot of women also taking herbs during
Hmm.
lactation as well. And
Hmm.
I feel sometimes, I don't know if it's the same for you, Katrien, but that they're not always taking the right amount, or they're not taking the right one, and then they feel like it's not working at all. So I don't know if that's something you experience as well in Belgium, is it?
Yeah, there are a lot of questions about herbs
Mhm.
and breastfeeding. For example, on online fora, they ask, "Can I use this herb or
Right.
that herb? Is it
Yeah.
okay when to breastfeed when I'm eating this or that?" So there are a lot
Yeah.
of questions about it.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, and I think that I see a lot of people say that they just take maybe a very small amount, or
Hmm.
maybe not the correct one for their body,
Hmm.
and it doesn't work well. So we see a lot of
Hmm.
that now too.
Hmm.
So I'm very keen to hear from you and learn more about it, because I want to feel that I can provide better resources, that we can talk more about the conversation, in order to support them. And even though I can't provide them because I'm not a herbalist or a nutritionist, but I can
Mm-hmm.
at least find the resources to provide to them so that they
Mm-hmm.
can make that informed decision, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
it's about, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's fabulous. All right, so as promised, I said we would talk a little bit about your presentation because I want people to come and I know people will be excited about, listening to you and hearing more what it's like, not only for you in Belgium, but what it's like, as a herbalist, and what your experiences are. So, what are the things that we should expect, that I should expect from your presentation at our conference this year?
Well, there are a lot of herbs you can take during breastfeeding,
Hmm.
and I will talk about use of herbs, but I will also talk about lactation support, because people can use herbs, but you also have to have lactational support
Right.
while breastfeeding. That 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 are two sides. You can't solve a problem with only herbs. So I will tell about that during my talk.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that sounds really good. Thank you for that. I appreciate you even talking about it here, because we know that there's lots of people that don't get the support, and or they just try on their own, and then
Hmm.
it doesn't always work. So we're really trying to build community around the world and talk more about our families and how to direct them in the postpartum days and weeks, so that they can get the correct support, particularly when it comes to lactation. So that
Hmm.
sounds great. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think there's some things that are the same everywhere in the world with our families, and they have similar struggles. But it's so good to sort of find out the different things that have been tried in different countries around the world and different areas. I think it's so important that we're sharing this information all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the world, every culture uses herbs while
Yeah.
breastfeeding, and every culture has specific herbs to use
Right.
while breastfeeding. So
Sure.
herbs are everywhere among
Yeah,
breastfeeding
no,
mothers.
that's very interesting too, because I think a lot about the dynamics of using one herb in one country, and
Hmm.
I remember for the long time that we didn't have certain herbs in Canada. You never heard of them, and then
Hmm.
slowly they would come here as well. So it's very interesting how I feel like using herbs in breastfeeding has grown as well.
Hmm.
And But I'm also always thinking about, do they really need a herb? Is it
Hmm.
necessary?
Good
These
question.
types of things, right? I'm always
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about it, because sometimes it's not, it doesn't support them. It could almost be like a barrier,
Mm-hmm.
because they take something and it doesn't work, and then they still feel like they have failed.
Hmm.
So I'll look forward to talking with you
Hmm.
more about that as well when we have our live presentation as well. So that's awesome. Last but not least, this is an opportunity. I also want people to know a little bit about your website, because there is some information that people can get. And so why don't you tell people a little bit about the website that you created,
Hmm.
and where they would go to find that information?
Hmm. I have a rather big website. It's all in Dutch. I'm sorry, and it's a website for mothers.
Sure.
I really choose to build a website for mothers,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of information for healthcare workers, but I wanted to speak to mothers and
Oh,
parents.
beautiful. Lovely.
And it's built up by answer and question,
Oh, good.
or question and answer modus. So you can click on a question, and then you get the answer. And I try to set or to give the answer
Hmm.
in a way that a mother can understand. So
Okay.
I'm using a language that mothers use and not healthcare workers. Um, so I
That's
hope
wonderful.
it's
Yeah.
helpful for mothers, and they tell me that it's a very good website. So
Yeah, well, this is good because I think you're right. Sometimes it gets a bit overwhelming because mothers don't know they are online looking all the time on the internet for information. So
Yeah, there's a
having a
lot of information and they
yeah,
don't know where to start.
yeah, so having this type of website as a
Mm.
professional to refer
Hmm.
a mother to go and read would be
Yeah.
really helpful. And I know
Hmm.
we talked about it being of course, in Belgium, but the translating on most of our websites is pretty good today, I think. So I think that that's great to have that resource. But we have lots of delegates that come from Europe as well. So hopefully that will be helpful for them in order to
Hmm.
use as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much,
You're
Katrien.
welcome.
That's just really great to hear. And thank you for sitting down with me today and chatting. And I can't wait to have the live event at our Gold Lactation Conference here on April 7th.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And thank you so much to everyone who tuned in today. Of course, don't forget to leave comments right below. We want to hear what it's like in your country. Maybe you can share with Katrien some of the herbs that are used locally
Mm.
in your community. And perhaps you are a herbalist or a nutritionist like Katrien, and you can share your thoughts about what you're hoping more to learn or what you are hoping is available locally to you and, of course, internationally as well. We will look forward to having all of you join us for our Gold Lactation Conference this year. Of course, you can go to the website right now and register for that at goldlactation.com. And we will see you at the beginning of the conference on March 30th. And of course, we'll see you online for our very special guest, Katrien, on April 7th. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. Bye-bye for now, everyone.